night, conservative radio talk show host Mark Levin was beside himself because we dared to speak the truth about voting rights in this country. On his show Friday, he was just losing his mind, ranting and raving about me and Maya Wiley. Listen to this fool.
So the party that believes in democracy doesn't even care or comprehend that we're not a democracy, that we're a republic, a constitutional republic. Not a democracy. And the framers were very clear about that. You cannot have a majority vote on whether you have unalienable rights or whether natural law exists or whether your individual liberty should be expanded or shrunk. That's just voting. Voting is certainly an important aspect of a republic, but it's not the end-all and be-all. Freedom is. Any civil society. And so we have Maya Wiley, civil rights activist at the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation, Voting Rights Forum today, and Roland Martin. So you see, when they say they believe in democracy, they don't even believe in our Constitution. Let me just say this briefly before I get to this. They oppose the Electoral College. They oppose the filibuster, which really is the defining process in the United States Senate. They attack the founding, which means they attack the Constitution, which followed the founding. They attack separation of powers. They attack the Supreme Court. They want to pack it. They've tried multiple times through their history. They do not believe in this system. They wanted to pass a national voting system that would have violated at least 3 provisions of the Constitution. And this is what I'm talking about. They do not believe in freedom of speech, certainly not yours. They do not believe in the free exercise of religion as they try and not only exclude it from the public square, but exclude it, period, depending on if you want to make...
I can't listen to... They don't believe in the founding. Slavery? Sorry, Mark. We don't believe in slavery. Excuse us that we don't just exalt the slave-holding founders. Excuse us if we ain't all hyped about the 3-5 compromise. They don't believe in religion. Mark, black folks more religious than y'all. Hell, we had to believe in Jesus just to deal with you Jim Crow racists. He going on and on and on about they don't believe in this at all. We not a democracy. We a republic. They don't believe in the Constitution. Mark, why did we have the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments? Why was the Civil Rights Act of 64 passed and the Voting Rights Act of 65 passed and the Fair Housing Act of 68 passed? Because y'all wouldn't believe in the same damn Constitution your ass say you love. If we were to believe that that document meant everything in the world, guess what? Then we wouldn't have had to add new laws. And the new laws were passed to force white folks to enforce the very law that had already been passed. And had we been treated equal, there wouldn't be no need for the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. So I love it when these fools say, oh my God, they don't believe it. What did Dr. King say? Be true to what you put on paper. The thrust of the Black Freedom Movement was to force y'all to abide by that very Constitution y'all say y'all love. That was the point. So I just get a kick out of these folks who lie to their audience, oh my God, they don't believe in these things they don't believe in this. Hell, black people believe more in the Constitution and the government than many of you white conservatives do. Because clearly, y'all damn sure don't believe in law and order after January 6th. Oh, you want to go there, huh? Surely you don't believe in everybody has a right to vote, because y'all wouldn't be using all of your voter suppression tactics. Surely you don't, because you said, oh, no, we all believe in the right to vote. Really? How? Because you're stopping others from doing so. Nice try, man. Nice. They don't believe in the First Amendment. Oh, so now you care about the First Amendment? Because y'all always skip that one to go to the second. Just play by 60 seconds more of this fool.
Get cake for a certain ceremony, you don't have the right to make that decision. Or if you're a religious institution, you don't have a right to say that this club cannot be here because its foundational principles conflict with the entire purpose of the university. And you go on and on and on. They do not believe in your Second Amendment rights, the right to bear arms. In many cases, they do not believe. They do not believe in due process rights. They do not believe in probable cause in many cases as they continue to surveil citizens and collect data about you. And of course, federalism, the 10th Amendment, is out the window, except that they want to wave it around from time to time to advance a cause.
We don't believe in probable cause? Hell, we the reason you got that in the boy. Y'all are some desperate, crazy people. You know what, Mark? Let me just go ahead and play a little something for you. You might remember this, since you talk about the Constitution. You might remember that was a black woman from Texas, the first black woman from the South, elected since Reconstruction, named Barbara Jordan, Texas Southern University graduate. Let me go ahead and let her explain to you how we feel about the Constitution.
James Madison again at the Constitutional Convention. A president is impeachable if he attempts to subvert the Constitution. The Constitution charges the president with the task of taking care that the laws be faithfully executed. And yet,
now, that was a lot of Constitution she was saying. That was a whole lot I heard right there from her about the Constitution. You know, but the one you say we don't believe in. Yeah, I heard that. But I love what she said at the beginning. I love this. Go ahead.
The purpose of general debate, not to exceed a period of 15 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jordan.
Mr. Chairman, I join my colleague, Mr. Rangel, in thanking you for giving the junior members of this committee the glorious opportunity of sharing the pain of this inquiry. Mr. Chairman, you are a strong man, and it has not been easy, but we have tried as best we can to give you as much assistance as possible. Earlier today, we heard the beginning of the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We the people. It's a very eloquent beginning. But when that document was completed on the 17th of September in 1787, I was not included in that we the people.
You hear that, Mark? We were not included in we the people. Continue.
I felt somehow for many years that George Washington and Alexander Hamilton just left me out by mistake. But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in we the people.
See, Mark, this is really why you so mad. Because we now get to speak. We now got to actually sit in the convention center that black people were barred from in the past. It drives you crazy that white police officers no longer dominate the Washington, D.C. police force, where they used to get those racists from Virginia and West Virginia who did so. See, I know it was just killing you that we actually get to have our own opinion, and the cameras of C-SPAN were there to broadcast it, and we were streaming it on Black Star Network, owned by yours truly. See, I know it must pain you when we actually get now to own stuff and we get to actually use the First Amendment. So it's a little hard to say we don't like the First Amendment when we're actually using the First Amendment, which is why you were commenting. I digress.
Today I am an inquisitor, and hyperbole would not be fictional and would not overstate the solemnness that I feel right now. My faith in the Constitution is whole, it is complete, it is total. And I am not going to sit here and be an idle spectator to the diminution, the subversion, the destruction of the Constitution.
And that, Mark, is what you can't stand. You cannot stand that we have read the same Constitution y'all wrote. And what you cannot stand is that we have used that same Constitution against you. We have used the same Constitution that was not written for us, and was not designed for us, to force y'all to give us the same respect and rights as you had when you were born. That's why you so upset. And then in your rant, you sat here and said, oh, he would not invite me on his show. Well, Mark, I invited you on my show Friday night. Ain't heard from you Saturday or Sunday or Monday. Did so on Twitter. A producer reached out. Y'all ain't said nothing. Because you know why? Because your little weak ass didn't think I was actually going to do it. You could come on this show anytime and we can have that debate. I'll go on your radio show. I'll go on your Fox show. I'll meet your ass on any street corner in D.C. I'll meet you in a phone booth. I'll meet you anywhere. You can pack the audience with all your fans and I still show up to whoop your ass. Because I ain't afraid of you or nobody else. So you tell me, Mark Levin, when you want to go at it. I'm always ready. I don't even need advance warning. You just say when. See, this right here, Julian, Congo, and Renita, is what drives them crazy, because, see, they think they are the experts on the Constitution. And what they cannot stand is that we are not going to accept a document that never had us in mind. We are going to change it in order to, it is relevant in the 21st century. That, Julian, is what drives them crazy, because white men like Mark Levin cannot handle the fact that they, just like Bill Maher, they no longer get to call all the shots in 21st century America.
And that's why they've been manipulating the law. That's why they've been suppressing the vote. That's why they've been attempting to sideline Black voices. And that's why Bill Maher had the temerity to say something about, or was the Caitlin, one of them, all white people look alike to me, but said something about Kamala Harris being off-putting. It is off-putting to have white people opine about people they should not even talk about. That Levin person, I don't even know who he is, never heard of him. That lets you know how much TV I don't watch. But clearly, his rant was so inappropriate and so unlettered, ignorant. We talk about what they don't believe. He doesn't know what we believe.
Congo?
At the end of the day, it's really sad, because you could have really just interchanged Bill Maher and Levin in terms of the segments, and it goes straight to your point that whether we're talking about these liberals or conservatives, on some level, some of these guys are the same. And not only, Roland, have we fought to improve this country in every way, shape, or form in terms of making it as good as it's promised, we've also fought to improve it for everybody else. There's not a single right that we have earned in this country, that we have fought for in this country, that has not applied to everybody else. When you talk about things like the 14th Amendment, when you talk about policies that have started to exist like affirmative action that have benefited white women more than anybody else, anything that we've ever gained in this country out of our hard sweat, blood, and tears, we've never just kept for ourselves. People are always talking about this concern about, well, people are concerned about black people becoming part of the majority because they're afraid we're going to do to white people what they did to us. That's not in our nature to do. I mean, when these white men went to fight for the Civil War, there were a lot of black men left at home with these white women. Was there massive slaughters and destruction going on all over these plantations? Black women just uprise and start trying to kill as many black women as possible who are left behind? That's not in our nature to do that. It's not in our nature to be evil and violent, but it is in our nature to fight for justice and to fight for what's right and to make this country as good as it's promised for everybody. And so, Mark Levin, you got to understand that we are never going back. We earned the right to be part of this country because we built this country. And if you don't understand that, then you're the one who has to go back and reread that Constitution, because much of the freedoms that have been granted in it were granted because of what we did, and people trying to get paid off the path that we laid. We're going to continue to fight for everybody, but we're going to make sure, in the spirit of the Honorable Barbara Jordan, that we are not disrespected, because that Constitution speaks for us now, too.
And that's why they mad, Renita, because we ain't going nowhere.
Right. And I'm with Dr. Malveaux, except I'm not going to be as nice about it as she was. Nobody cares about Mark. Nobody cares about Mark's tears. Well, let me say I don't care. And nobody even really knows who Mark is. And so the reality is that these are the type of white men that you see who are always waxing poetically about federalism, states' rights, and how black people don't love the Constitution or even know how to read the Constitution, which is really just a racist trope. No, the Constitution is not black people's Bible, but actually we've done a better job of adhering to the Constitution, because I didn't see black people show up to the Capitol and try to burn it down and also try to overthrow the government just because their candidate of choice did not win. The reality is that white men like him are freaking out because they are understanding that they are not the only people who will have a voice in this country, and they will not automatically just be in charge of everything. And they love democracy until it means that they can no longer be in charge. So bye, Mark. Nobody cares.
Well, it's like I told Richard Spencer this when I debated that white supremacist on TV1. Y'all go to it.
Tell you you've got to prepare yourself. You've dealt with a bunch of guilt-ridden, silly whites all your life, and we are waking up. We are recognizing who we are, and we see an amazing future.
Hey, Richard,
so you better get ready.
I'm going to tell you right now, Richard, here's the deal. 1619, 20-odd Africans arrived, Fort Comfort, Virginia, okay? 1619, 397 years ago. Trust me, we're resilient. We're not going anywhere. And I'm going to tell you right here, and as my frat brother Vertner Woodson Tandy said, 1937, we will fight until hell freezes over, and then we will fight on the ice. You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
That's same for you, Mark Levin. I'll be back in a moment. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches! I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?